Hi there. So, I'm a software engineer and I volunteer on the side at church and other organizations. And this is May 2026, and I have volunteered to step in as a poll worker outside of my polling location where they're short-handed. One of the things, many of the things I'm concerned about, of course, Supreme Court. Um, Ruling that said that corporations are people too, basically, but it goes into much more detail. I was concerned with the influx of money, how that's changed our political landscape, but more recently, all the gerrymandering and the redistricting in the middle of between censuses, which makes no sense. I mean, we have enough technology now where a good independent software group, we could develop some algorithms and some applications that take the data fed in from a census, say in 2030, and can rightfully and fairly draw election maps that start at one corner or the other and proportionally go through the census populations over a region and draw pretty square boundaries that look like they make sense. Instead of these maps that look like jigsaw puzzles where they carve out certain areas. I mean, we could make it proportional where this region has so many voters, we'll parse it up as going from right to left or left to right, from top to bottom or bottom to top, but use the same rules across the board. um, yeah, so it's really gotten confusing. So my slide here says no taxation without representation is it's become harder for the average working person to get off of work during limited hours. Not so much here in the state of Pennsylvania, but in other places where polling locations are only open during times that we're at work. So let me move on. So that cry on the initial slide started way back at the beginning of our nation. And then at first, when this nation was founded, everyone didn't have the right to vote. Um, but in today's time, where everyone is obligated to pay taxes, you would think that everyone would be obligated to vote. I would go as far to say is if the IRS can't prove that you have an election card, that you are exempt from paying taxes and even property taxes. That would be more inclusive and get the governments, local, state, and federal government to get more people out and be more inclusive. So that, hey, if I can't vote for representative, I shouldn't have to pay for the laws that representative use or the money or even the laws. Be exempt from certain laws because you have no say. Now, this is one thing that's been in the press a lot lately is that it seems really strange that some of our elected officials are saying that voter fraud is an issue without being able to step back realistically and realize the irony of that statement. The fact that they are sitting in office and crying foul with the voter system and saying there is rampant voter fraud, um, but yet they're sitting in office. Does that mean that they're admitting that they know some fraudulent voters out there or bad ballots that got them into office? But the real problem, it appears to me, is not voter fraud. I mean, sure, we should do investigations and dig down. And maybe, hey, the voting systems, like I said, I'm a volunteer poll worker. It's difficult. There's a lot of scrutiny. They track ballots that are soiled. Hey, I made a mistake. I need a new ballot. All that stuff is tracked down to the ballot number. It seems to me that people that don't understand how the election system works are the people that are criticizing it. if they would just educate themselves and respect the people that come out and take time off of their high paying jobs to work for just a few dollars to sit there and do their part for the citizens. I'm a veteran that served in 18 years in active duty, deployed all over the world. I got out and I will still volunteer to do my part as a citizen of this country. Here's the sad truth. Here is the actual truth that is not being addressed is voter turnout. We are making it more difficult for voters to get out and vote. When you realize that less than 50% in most areas are actually coming out to vote, so the rest of the people that can't get out to vote because they're disabled, are busy working 2 or 3 jobs, just can't do it or aren't willing to do it. Here's an idea. Tax code, clean it up, 8% across the board of all income before it's reinvested, before it's donated. 8% on all income. And then when a person votes, they get a credit so that their 8% is dropped by, say, 1%. That would encourage people to get out to vote. But you're going to have to open up the polling hours, maybe, or come up with another solution to people that just can't get out to vote. And as you see here, I am quoting the sources for this. We do have a problem. The problem is getting people out, getting people involved. And it just seems like every year that goes by, people are losing energy, and that's just going to destroy this nation in the long run. So do your part. Get the word out. Let's do what we can do to stop things before they get worse. Get out to vote.